Hola, soy yo, Vicky, otra vez. Welcome to my channel. Hope you're finding it useful for learning Spanish, and if it's the first time you've seen this channel, thank you. I hope you find this video useful. Now then, in this video, I'm going to concentrate on a very important verb, the verb tener. Tener is the verb that we normally think of as to have. So we use tener to talk about things we own. Yeah, tengo una casa, tengo dos perros, tengo un coche, etc. But we can, maybe you know or you don't know, we can use tener for a lot of other things in Spanish as well. So it's a very, very important verb. It is an irregular verb. We have looked at it before when we did go-go verbs. If you've not seen that video and you don't know about go-go verbs, it might be a good idea for you at some point to have a look at those as well. You don't need to have watched that to follow this video though. So if we take the verb itself, tener, it's an ER verb. Yeah, it ends in ER. Tener is the infinitive, to have. However, it's a go-go verb, so the first person it's tengo. Yeah, ends in go. Then it is also a diphthong, a stem changing verb. Again, there is a video on the channel about diphthongs if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about when I mention a diphthong. But basically that means that the stem changes. So after tengo, it's tienes. So the E becomes I. Then tiene. So tienes is, tengo is I have. Tienes, you have. Tiene, he, she, or it has. Then we have the first person plural, which is we, and we lose the diphthong in there. Tenemos, we have. And then use, you lot have. Tenes, again, no diphthong. But as with the usual pattern of the diphthong verbs, when we come to the third person plural, they have, we get the diphthong back, so it's tienen. So the conjugation of the verb is tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, tenéis, tienen. That's our verb to have. So the first way of using this verb is to just plain and simple, talk about things we have or don't have. So when we want to make a negative, we just put a no in front of the verb. So if you want to say, I don't have a car, you say, no tengo coche, or I don't have a cat, no tengo gato. So that's what you had to do in the book first of all, if you have the book. So if you have the Break the Language Barrier Level 1 book, we are on page 52, 52, and there's just a little to start off, a little practice where you were to say 5 things you have, tengo, and 5 things you don't have, no tengo. If you don't have the book, you don't need it to follow the video. The video is self-explanatory. However, some people have the book and they like to follow it in the book and listen to the video at the same time. If you don't have the book and you'd like to buy it, you can buy it on any Amazon site or through my website. Okay, so presuming that you've done, obviously they're free answers, what you're saying I have or I don't have. So we're going on to the practice A, which there was just some sentences to translate using tener. So número uno, I have 10 euros. So that would be tengo 10 euros. Y número dos, you have my books. You have is tienes. And then my books, because it's plural, will be mis libros. She has a new car, will be ella tiene. Probably better we use the ella there, just to make it clear it's she has, because it could also be he has. Ella tiene un coche nuevo. Y número 5, we have a new cat. There's no need to put the we here because Tenemos can only be we have, it can't mean anything else. Tenemos un gato nuevo. Y número 6, use, you all have a lot of friends, so that will be tenéis muchos amigos. Again, the muchos and the amigos, plural, masculine presumably, because we don't know that they're all women. If they were all women, it'd be muchas amigas, but combination would be muchos amigos. Número 7, they have 5 cousins, so that is tienen, they have 5 cousins, cinco primos. Again, really, we would use the masculine unless we knew for certain they were all female cousins. And if it's a mixture of male and female, the masculine takes the precedence. Vale, número 8, I do not have the money. So that will be no tengo el dinero. Oh, and just that there is a video on masculine and feminine. Most of my course, my method, if you like, is a gradual build. You'll find that if you're coming into watching this video for the first time of watching my channel, and there's something that you think, oh, I don't know about that, it will undoubtedly have been explained in a previous video. So you can look for that, or if it's not explained in a previous video and you want me to explain something, please get in touch with me. I'm happy to explain anything that you're not sure about in Spanish. Vale, so número 9, who has the keys? Of course, who is the third person singular, unless we know for certain there's more than one person. So we would use quién tiene las llaves. And número 10, I would ask anybody this, why don't you have a dog, or why do you not have a dog? And that would be ¿por qué no tienes un perro? ¿Vale? So those are fairly straightforward. They're just talking about things we have or things we don't have. That's the fundamental use of the verb tener. Then when we go over to the next page, we can see that we actually use tener also to talk about our age. So we don't say I am a certain age, we say I have a certain number of years. So there's a couple of examples there. Tengo 50 años, I am 50. Juan tiene 15 años, Juan is 15. La casa tiene 7 años, the house is 7 years old. And then because of that, when you're asking someone how old they are, you don't say how old are you, using the verb to be. You say how many years do you have, using the verb to have. So you would say, ¿cuántos años tienes? Vale. Oh, and something that's worth remembering is that if you're asking how old a baby is, because obviously a baby hasn't got any years, so you wouldn't say cuántos años tiene, you would say cuánto tiempo tiene, how much time does it have, or he or she have. Okay, so going down to practice B, there was a selection of sentences to translate using the verb tener to talk about age. So número 1, you are 30 years old. So it's a good practice of your numbers, this as well, because sometimes we forget our numbers because if we don't use them every day. So I have said in other videos, and just in case you're watching for the first time, if you're not, I'm sorry because I'm repeating myself, but repetition is the best way to remember everything. So if you're not in a position where you get a chance to speak lots of Spanish, for example, if you're not living in Spain, or you're living in Spain but you're in an expat area, or not only Spain, in South America or whatever, wherever you're learning Spanish, If you're not in a position where you're actually practicing it every day, then really what you need to do is repeat it every day. So go back over the numbers, the alphabet, the exercises in the book. I always say to people, do the exercises over and over again until you can do them without even thinking about it, without having to look up any word, without, having to think of a conjugation of a verb, anything. Of course the answers are all in the back, so you can always check them every time. But yeah, repetition is definitely the key, whether it's repeating everything in a natural environment like where you're actually able to speak Spanish with people, or repeating things at home. You should repeat them before you move on to make sure it's not worthwhile to move on too quickly. You have to know one thing before you move on to the next. Okay, sorry, I digress, as usual. So in practice B, tienes 30 años, you are 30 years old. Maria is 45 years old. Maria tiene 45 años. My car is 10 years old. Mi coche tiene 10 años. How old is your brother? So, ¿cuántos años tiene tu hermano? So, how many years does your brother have? Número 5. Those boys are 15 years old. So that is, esos chicos o niños tienen 15 años. Número 6. Her cat is 8 years old. Su gato or gata, if it's a girl cat, tiene 8 años. How old are they? Number 7. ¿Cuántos años tienen? Ahí, número 8. The town is 50 years old. So, the town, you could use la ciudad. That's more city, really, but sometimes used for town. Or el pueblo. Tiene 50 años. Vale, so anytime we're talking about age, we don't have to think, is it ser or estar? Because it's neither. It's the verb to have. Okay, then underneath, going on about in the book, just the following exercise is how we use tener to say quite a lot of expressions where in English we use the verb to be. So, for example, when we want to say to be hungry, in Spanish we have hunger, tener hambre, H-A-M-B-R-E, but of course we don't pronounce the H. To be thirsty is to have thirst, tener sed. To be cold is to have cold, tener frío. So that's not when you're ill with a cold, it's when you're feeling cold. To be hot is to have heat, tener calor. To be afraid is to have fear, tener miedo. To be lucky is to have luck, tener suerte. To be in a hurry is to have a hurry in Spanish, tener prisa. To be sleepy is to have dreams, tener sueño. And to be right is to have reason. I like that. It sounds better, I have reason rather than I am right. Tener razón. Yeah? And of course, all those, to make them negative, you just put a no in front. So if you're saying I am hungry, or in other words, I have hunger, you say tengo hambre. If you're saying I'm not hungry, no tengo hambre. And going down, if you're saying I am lucky, you say tengo suerte. If you're saying I'm not lucky, no tengo suerte. Okay, hope that's clear. So the exercise that was to follow it, there were some questions that you had to answer using one of those expressions. So number one was ¿Por qué comes un bocadillo? So that's why are you eating a sandwich? So I think there we would reply porque tengo hambre, because I am hungry. Número dos, porque compra Juan una botella de agua? So why is Juan buying a bottle of water? So I think we would answer porque Juan tiene sed, because Juan is thirsty, presumably. Y número tres, ¿por qué quieren dormir? So why do they want to sleep? So our answer would be porque tienen sueño, because they are tired. Número cuatro, porque compráis una bufanda? So comprise is use, you lot. So why are you lot all, or you all, buying a scarf? So presumably the answer would be porque tenemos frío, because we're cold. Y número 5, porque ganó 1,000,000 de euros en la lotería? Why do I win 1,000,000 euros in the lottery? And I think the answer to that would be porque tienes mucha suerte, because you're really lucky. ¿Sabes? Y número 6, ¿por qué estás de acuerdo conmigo? And that means, why are you in agreement with me? And I think the answer there would be porque tienes razón, because you are right. Número 7, ¿por qué corréis? So again, talking about you all. Why are you rushing? Why are you all rushing or hurrying? And the answer would be porque tenemos prisa, because we are in a hurry. Número 8, ¿por qué esconden debajo de la cama? Why do they hide under the bed? And presumably the answer to that would be because they are scared, porque tienen miedo, because they have fear. Y número 9, ¿por qué no estás de acuerdo con ella? Why are you not in agreement with her? So I think the answer there would be because she's not right. Porque no tiene razón, because she's not right. Y número 10, ¿por qué estás sentado en la sombra? Why are you sitting in the shade? I think the answer there might be porque tengo calor, because I am hot, or literally because I have heat. Vale, espero que comprendéis. I hope you understand that. Okay, again, any problems, anything you don't understand, you can always contact me and I will clarify it for you. Okay, then the other way that we use tener, another way that we use tener, which is actually similar to how we use the verb to have in English, is to talk about obligation, things we have to do. That's what we say in English. I have to study Spanish. I have to go to the shops. I have to work. And the negative, of course, is I don't have to. I don't have to study Spanish. I don't have to go to work. And in English, we use the verb to have and we just put to after it. I have to. And then the infinitive of what we have to do. I have to study Spanish. ¿Vale? So it's very similar in Spanish. We use tener, but then we also add que. So it's the que, tener que, that changes it from just to have to have to. and then we use the infinitive of what it is we have to do. So some examples that are here. Tengo que hablar con Juan. I have to speak to Juan. Tienes que comer verduras. You have to eat vegetables. Tienen que trabajar mucho. They have to work hard or a lot. So again, to make the negative, we would just put no in front. So if it was, I don't have to speak to Juan, no tengo que hablar con Juan. You need to remember the K. A lot of people forget the K. That's the biggest problem that people have with that. They quite often forget to put in the K, but you need the K to make it have to. Otherwise, it's just have. Okay, so we'll look at practice D, the sentences that you had to translate. I have to read this book. Tengo que leer este libro. You have to watch this film. Tienes que ver o mirar esta película. We have to wash the car every Saturday. Tenemos que lavar el coche cada sábado. She has to open the window every morning. Ella tiene que abrir la ventana either cada mañana o todas las mañanas. We have to decide now. Tenemos que decidir ahora. Número 6, use. You lot have to sell your car. So it'll be tenéis que vender vuestro coche. Número 7, they do not have to eat their breakfast. So that will be no tienen que comer su desayuno. Número 8, you have to take the dog to the park. So that will be tienes que llevar. So llevar is the verb to take, for taking things away somewhere. There is a video amongst my videos about the different ways of saying take in Spanish. Yeah, we've got tomar, llevar, tardar, depending on what we're taking. So taking a tablet, tomar. Taking someone somewhere, llevar. And taking time, tardar. So, but there is, as I said, there is a video in the list that does explain that short video. So, tienes que llevar el perro al parque. Número 9, we have to buy wine for the party. Tenemos que, we have to, comprar vino para la fiesta. And then number 10, número 10, no tienes que, you don't have to, esperar aquí. You don't have to wait here. No tienes que esperar aquí. Vale, ya está. So, what do you have to do this week? That's a good practice that I normally get my classroom students to do. I get them to talk about something they have to do every day, something they have to do every week, something they have to do every month, and something they have to do every year. So, for example, I might say, cada día tengo que comer. I have to eat every day. Then cada semana tengo que comprar en el supermercado. Every week I have to buy or go shopping to the supermarket. And then every month Cada mes tengo que pagar la luz, the electricity. Every month I have to pay the electricity. And then every year, cada año, tengo que celebrar mi cumpleaños. Every year I have to celebrate my birthday, unfortunately. En agosto, cada agosto, tengo que celebrar mi cumpleaños. And then I get them to normally think of 5 things they don't have to do this week. So, por ejemplo, what would I say? Esta semana no tengo que... Dios, qué difícil. No tengo que ir al banco. I don't have to go to the bank this week. Esta semana no tengo que comprar agua. I don't have to buy water because I've got lots of water already here. So, esta semana no tengo que estudiar alemán. I don't have to study German this week. Y esta semana no tengo que correr. I don't have to run or rush. Correr can mean run or rush. Y esta semana, one more, no tengo que limpiar mi casa. This week I don't have to clean my house, which actually is not true because I normally clean it every day, porque tengo dos perros. Okay, so yeah, there'll be good little exercise for you to try at home. Again, as I always say, if you want me to check anything that you write, you can always send it in to me by email and I will check it and give you any feedback if there's anything to say about it. If you found this video useful, and I hope you have, for using tener que, for using the verb tener for all the different ways of using it, please, if you feel inclined and if you have found it useful, give me a thumbs up down at the bottom. And if you'd like to receive notification of new videos, and again, if you feel inclined, please subscribe down below to the channel, and then you will get you will receive all the new videos or notification of the new videos. Thank you to everybody who's given me a thumbs up or a subscribe so far. It's very much appreciated. I hope you will practicar mucho, that you find an opportunity to do lots of practicing with your Spanish. And vale, hasta la próxima vez. Hasta la próxima. Y muchas gracias y hasta luego. Adiós.